Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Puddles, and today I have another video about some creatures that synergize well. This is my Everyone Roll Initiative series, and this is part 4. And today we're going to talk about Death Shrieks. This is a particularly nasty one. I'm going to mention before we get into it. It is designed to kill players. I probably would never run this in my game that it targets the PCs. Maybe I would have like an NPC that would succumb to this, but this is essentially like a one-hit to combo, your character is dead. So let's have a look at it and see how and why it is so scary and dangerous. So first we have Banshees and WilloWisps. We've already talked a little about WilloWisps in a previous video, but they also synergize very well with Banshees in killing your players. So let's have a look at what these characters can do. So Banshees are undead. They have like 58 hit points, 12 AC. They're immune or resistant to a whole bunch of stuff. But it's not necessarily the stuff that we're interested in. They can detect life in certain areas, and they're incorporeal. It also says in the monster manual that they usually stay in one place where they died. So they're not the kind of creature to stumble upon your characters as they are camping, or like go into a city and attack people. So this is something where your character players would stumble upon them. But the important thing is their wail, because it's ridiculous. So they have a corrupting touch, which does 3d6 damage, which is pretty significant for a CR4 creature. They have horrifying visage, which makes creatures frightened, which is pretty good for their level. I think if you were to have a Banshee in a fight, it would probably be the first time that you introduced the frightened condition. But yeah, so the most important thing here is the wail. The Banshee releases a mournful wail provided that she isn't in sunlight. This wail has no effect on constructs or undead. All other creatures within 30 feet of her that can hear her must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failure, they drop to 0 hit points. On a success, they take 3d6 psychic damage. Now, the Banshee can only do this once, but it's pretty scary. You can, if all of your players fail, which is pretty unlikely, but if it was to happen, they all drop to 0 hit points. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So Banshees by themselves are ridiculous, okay? But when you combine them with WilloWisps, they are a recipe for killing players. That's what they do. So we've talked about WilloWisps before, so I'm not going to go crazy into detail. But the one thing that we really want to look at is the consume life. So the Constitution saving throw against magic. Oh wait, here we go. I'll scroll up and we can actually see it, eh? So as a bonus action, the WilloWisp can target a creature it can see that has 0 hit points. See where I'm getting at? And is still alive. The target must succeed on a DC 10 Constitution saving throw against this magic or die. If the target fails, if the target dies, the WilloWisp regains 3d6 hit points. So, 1-2 combo I'm talking about. Wail. Your Banshee wails. Say all of your players bar 1 succeeds. Well, guess what the WilloWisp is going to do on its turn? It's going to go in and it's going to try and suck the life out of the guy who just fell unconscious. Now, it doesn't seem to be that deadly. Well, it does sound that deadly. But the DCs are quite low. Like a 10 Constitution saving throw is pretty low. But a player could roll poorly on both of those rolls and die. And there's nothing that they could do about it. It's super cheap, it's super nasty, but it's, it's in theme with this series. It is a synergization, if that's even a word, that just works perfectly. They synergize so well together. But now, I'll give you an example of some encounters. So, firstly, let's go through some narrative. So, let's talk about our Banshee and our WilloWisps. So you could have in your story that the Banshee used their beauty to control the wisps in life. So the wisps used to be just regular people, and the The Banshee used to be an elf, and this control caused the wisps to die in anguish, because that's what wisps are. The Banshee is filled with rage due to the curse and not being beautiful anymore, and the wisps are filled with despair. Tie it to legend, like lore that shit up. Talk about a beautiful elf who was horrible and did all these things. Like, build up that before you go into this encounter. Because if you were going to run this encounter, it's going to be deadly. It's going to be scary. So building up to it would make it more exciting as well. And in terms of, like, mechanically, the wisps still serve the Banshee, and they draw wanderers into the lair of the Banshee. So yeah. So, level 4 hard encounter. 1 Banshee, 1 WilloWisp. Doesn't seem that scary, but in the first round of combat, depending on rolls and luck and RNG, you could have one character just dead. Straight up dead. So it's scary. Yeah. And then at level 6, you could have 1 Banshee and 4 Wisps. So forgetting like the whole abilities that they have, these creatures can still attack and do damage, and like you have to kill them to kill them. So yeah, even if you were to fail with your 2-hit combo kill, it would still be a hard fight killing them. Even if one of your players dropped to 0 hit points, the rest of your players still have to deal with a Banshee and 4 WilloWisps. So yeah, this is I don't know if I would ever run this in one of my sessions, maybe in like a one-shot or something. But not with characters that were established, and my players would probably feel really cheapened if they died to this. They would feel like it was a cheap death. They'd feel ripped off, because it kind of is. But also, if I was to put this in my campaign, I would warn the crap out of my players. I'd be like, don't do this. Like, you'd have NPCs going, no, we shouldn't do this. Banshees are really scary. And if the players then went into it and then died, I would feel better about it. But yeah. Use it at your discretion. If you want to kill some people, kill some people. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.